Sensei said that the first technique that should be classed as the first technique is Shomanuchi, and it's Shomanuchi Ikkyo. Ikkyo just means one, itch. And it's one of the most difficult ones that a student will find to become comfortable with. They may find that eventually, after a few months, they start to get it, and as you get better and start training with higher grades, other black belts, other people, even in Q grades of your own level, we find it very difficult to do if our ukes wish to be a little bit difficult. They might not even mean to be difficult, they might just be strong. Now, I'm not the best artist, but I'm going to try and explain what I mean. Sensei said, with Shomanuchi Ikkyo, or all the Shomanuchi's mobilizations, he said, I initiate. So he would initiate. He would initiate. For some reason that I don't know, the Aikido have, well, sorry, I'll rephrase that. The Hombu Dojo, what we know as the Aikido as well, they have a cutting down from Shomanuchi, and I've never asked a high level experienced master. And the only two I know who is still alive is Tada Sensei and Yamada Sensei. So if I ever get the opportunity, I'd like to actually personally ask them what they think of why you would do this. When Sensei said that on Shomanuchi he must initiate. When a strike is coming down, he would actually open up and let the strike go past him. He wouldn't try to stop it, match it or beat it. But there are different things in Yoshinkan, Tomiki, you know, there's so many variations in Aikido around the world now that they all have their good points, their weak points, and I'm not here to say whose is the correct one. I'm just saying that I have the book that Sensei wrote. Sensei wrote 2 books. Stan Pranin was kind enough to award me with the second Sensei book, and the first page, when you open it, Sensei is going to talk about Ikkyo, Shomanuchi Ikkyo, and his first words are, check the ground around you. So that's quite strange when you think that you open the page and the translation of the English translation is going to tell you about Ikkyo, but he first tells you to check your surroundings. And of course that makes total sense, doesn't it? So, why do people have so much trouble with Ikkyo? It's because there's a lot of uncertainty about what a person should do. So I'm going to tell you the Iwama approach, because I've tried to follow Sensei and Saito Sensei, and the way they perform it is the hand comes up, so Nage initiates it, and you go forward towards Uke. If I go sideways, you'll notice that my thumb is in line with my nose. This is the point where you should have entered and made contact with Uke's wrist. Once you do this, but what you'll see, if you look on YouTube, and I don't know about books, but you'll see that a lot of people are here, they're up here. Now this thumb is level with my forehead. If you get that, then Sensei said to me, they could reverse it and get you in an Ikkyo because your arm is weak up here, where here, if they push, you can resist because you're strong. It can come from your centre. From here, you're past the point of balance, they could win. So you're in a who's the strongest mode. So from here, it's in front of your nose, you then take the elbow, or if you're doing Hombu style, you would have an open hand, but then be careful that you don't rise up, because as you rise up, even though you're going to take them down, remember, the higher you go, the weaker your arm. So you're actually reducing the amount of power that you've got. So you do from here go up, but you do it as you go over into the Ikkyo position where you're taking that balance. Alright? If you go in too hard and fast, it will push the hands up naturally, because clashing together, you'll both be weak. If one is stronger than the other, then it's still a clash, and that's not Aikido. I've done this silly little drawing that you may be able to read and see. Okay, this is really just to remind you that you shouldn't go above the nose level on the first meeting. And there's some words there that you may wish to just read and remember. If you methodically do this over and over, so that you offer, you enter, it's like a wave, it comes up your chest like a wave and towards them as you go forward, and what you do, excuse the chair groaning, if you do this, you will retain your power, and then your power, because it has a strong power base, it can project from this point. But you have to remember to catch them, or with open hands, you have to make the circle so that you keep together with them. So I find that most people overcome the Omote Ikkyo, but when it comes to the Ura Ikkyo, especially from Shomanuchi, they can't do it. It's as if they're pushing and the reach becomes too far. So I'm going to give you an example here. If you've ever stood on a pair of steps and you're trying to reach something, there's a comfortable place on the steps where you can either fix a light bulb or you can do something. And there's the next stage is where your maximum stretch. If you're too high on the Ikkyo, once you've come together, if the pushing up or the from here you go too high in the up, then that's what happens with the Ura. You're not keeping it constant, and you're not keeping it within the circle of what things can be achieved. The same as I'm talking about being on a step, some steps, a ladder, or in the past I've been leaning over a balcony trying to put Christmas decorations up. So I'm trying to give you some for instances so you know what I'm talking about. You know, and you just want to reach that little bit further. It's not quite comfortable. Perhaps the banisters are stopping you just quite reaching. You get on your tiptoes, you reach a bit more. It's uncomfortable, but your stubborn mind is going to not be challenged and beaten. And you might do it. But it's the same as the techniques. You might do it, but it won't be comfortable. It won't be within the realms of Aikido. In other words, you're the centre of the technique, and around it is comfortable, too large, and it's not comfortable anymore. So we've got the stage where you're on the steps, step ladder, step power metal steps or whatever, if you're wondering what I mean by steps. You're comfortably changing a light bulb or, screwing something in, and it's all very comfortable and it's all organised. And then the steps are not tall enough, or you're over the banisters, and it then takes a little bit more daring. You're stretching, you can almost do your work, but it's very difficult. But you're going to keep calm and you're going to try to complete it. There's the third stage where you just know that it's wrong to try to go out on a limb. It's more than just having a pressure in your stomach if you're over a balcony, or you're leaning on some steps, or you're trying to reach up to something. Even if you, like me, do yoga, you can gain a few inches, but you just know, but you're not going to be beaten. Your ego mind says, no, I don't want to go and ask the neighbour if he's got taller steps, or I haven't got time, I want to do it now. And you go beyond your, not comfort zone, because your comfort zone can be when it's easy to do it, or it's difficult, but I can do it. It's impossible, but you're still going to somehow try to achieve it. So these, to me, are the 3 points of Ikkyo. And if you want to be able to do Ura Ikkyo every single time with a really good feeling, then you need to be in the first stage. You need to be in control on a comfortable base and not reach outside of your sphere. If you do that, and you really, really, really work on your sphere, then you'll get it. The problem is with Ikkyo, Ura Ikkyo, is the sphere cannot be seen or drawn, it's felt. And what happens is people lack, they lack confidence. They get it, it's in the first stages, and then they start to lack confidence because they know that it feels like it's getting away from them. They're not really in control anymore. They're going out that little bit too far. They think that because the person needs to be off balance, they have to go past the limit of what is their natural comfort. But that means that you took your eye off the ball for a moment and you went outside your own sphere. Perhaps if you know that there's a weakness coming up, perhaps you should start to curve that sphere and actually make the sphere smaller, not larger. Perhaps you've got to start thinking about doing the opposite to what your mind is saying that you think you have to do. You see, to stretch elastic bands on and on and on and on and on, in the end, if the elastic band will stretch more than you can stretch, then you're defeated. So it's the same with doing an Ura Ikkyo. So you can do a perfectly good Ura Ikkyo as long as you keep it within a sphere of a comfort zone. Okay, you'll have to trust me on this one until you find that place. Once you've found it, you'll be able to do it 99 times out of 100, and you'll wonder why you found it so difficult for so many years. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this Ikkyo understanding, and please contact me if you need more information, or perhaps you'd like to join my Patreon site if you're not already on Patreon, and where we go in depth, just like this film. Thank you for your time.